All right, welcome to If My People Bible reading. We are in the book of Job. We're at chapter 18, and we shall continue on. For those of you in these 15-minute sections that decide to do one after the next for about an hour, or you're doing it in the evening, we'll try to make this flow for you. Chapter 18. I probably won't comment much after reading 18, 19, and 20 until I get to the middle of 21. Chapter 21, I'll have a comment. So we continue on. Then Bildad the Shuhite replied, "When will you end these speeches? Be sensible, and then we can talk. Why are we regarded as cattle and considered stupid in your sight? You who tear yourself to pieces in your anger, is the earth to be abandoned for your sake? Or must the rocks be moved from their place?" Small quote there. Yeshua brings that up later on. He says, "If you have the faith of my Father, you can move mountains." And it's an individual thing. But once you become a real Christian, it's all about you as a family. Verse 5. The lamp of the wicked is snuffed out. The flame of his fire stops burning. The light in his tent becomes dark. The lamp beside him goes out. The vigor of his step is weakened, and his own schemes throw him down. His feet thrust him into a net, and he wanders into its mesh. A trap seizes him by the heel. A snare holds him fast. A noose is hidden for him on the ground. A trap lies in his path. Small quote. Not many people know how to trap these days, but that's exactly what they're talking about. Those who can live off nature itself. Verse 11. Terrors startle him on every side, and his dog in his step. Calamity is hungry for him. Disaster is ready for him when he falls. It eats away parts of his skin. Death's firstborn devours his limbs. He is torn from the security of his tent and marched off to the king of terrors. Fire resides in his tent. Burning sulfur is scattered over his dwelling. His roots dry up below, and his branches wither above. The memory of him perishes from the earth. He has no name in the land. He is driven from light into darkness and is banished from the world. He has no offspring or descendants among his people, no survival where once he lived. Men of the West are appalled at his fate. Men of the East are seized with horror. Surely such a dwelling of an evil man, such is a place of who does not know Elohim. Chapter 19. Then Job replies, "How long will you torment me and crush me with your words? 10 times now you have reproached me. Shameless, you attack me. If it is true that I have gone astray, my error remains my concern alone. And if indeed you would exalt yourselves above me and use my humiliation against me, then know that Elohim has wronged me and drawn his net around me. Though I cry, I've been wronged. I get no response, though. I call for help. There is no justice. He has blocked my way so I cannot pass. He has shrouded my path in darkness. He has stripped me of my honor and removed the crown from my head. He tears me down on every side till I'm gone. He uproots my hope like a tree. His anger burns against me. He counts me among his enemies. His troops advance in force. They build a siege ramp against me and encamp around my tent. My kinsmen have gone away. My friends have forgotten me. My guests and my maidservants count me as a stranger, and they look upon me as an alien. I summon my servant, but he does not know and does not answer, though I beg him with my own mouth. My breath is offensive to my wife. I am loathsome to my own brothers. Even the little boys scorn me. When I appear, they ridicule me. All my intimate friends detest me, though those I love have turned against me. I am nothing but skin and bones. I have escaped with the only skin of my teeth. Have pity on me, my friends. Have pity, for the hand of Elohim has struck me. Why do you pursue me as Elohim does? Will you never forget through enough of my flesh? Oh, that my words were recorded, that they were written on a scroll. Comment. And so it is written, and this is a beautiful poem. At the end, it really culminates to the Father, Yahweh, Abba Father, talking to us. 24. That they inscribed with an iron tool on lead or engraved in rock forever. I know that my Redeemer lives, and at the end He will stand upon the earth, and after my skin has been destroyed, yet in my flesh I will see Elohim. Comment the promise of redemption. There it is. It doesn't go all the way up to the new covenant. The Christians, pastors teach from the pulpit. There it is. It begins actually in the garden. Grace and mercy and forgiveness began in the garden. The age of grace that Christians all say that we live in is an absolute lie. Incredible. Verse 27, I myself will see him with my own eyes, and I, not another. How my heart yearns within me. If you say, how will we hound him, since the root of troubles lies in him? You should fear the sword yourselves, for wrath will bring punishment by the sword, and then you will know that there is judgment. Don't judge another harshly and be wrong. The Bible does not say not to judge. We are to judge about everything we do every day using the word the Father has given us. That is exactly what we are commanded to do in the Old and the New Testament, the covenants. That's what we're commanded to do. So, why do people think, how they get off on this? Oh, I don't want to judge anybody. I'll just sit around. Oh, the whole world's falling apart, and I'll just sit in my home and worry and pray to Jesus. And then Jesus says, get off your rear end and do something. And I thought, well, that can't be from the Lord. Yeah, it is. Just do something. Oh, and voting. That's a political thing. If you can't do anything, at least you can cast your ballot to the very end, unless we give up everything on earth and then it's too late, isn't it? Then we have to depend on the Father to return. And it's not going to be a rapture. He's going to come back and fix things. Which side are you going to be on? Chapter 20. Then Zophar the Naathite, replied, my troubled thoughts prompt me to answer because I am greatly disturbed. I hear a rebuke that dishonors me, and my understanding inspires me to reply to you. Surely you know it has been from the old, ever since man was placed on earth, that the mirth of the wicked is brief, the joy of the wicked lasts but a moment. And though his pride reaches to the heavens and his head touches the clouds, he will perish forever like his own dung. Those that have seen him will say, where is he? Like a dream he flies away, no more to be found, banished like the vision of the night. The eye that saw him will not see him again. His place will look on him no more. His children must make amends to the poor. His own hands must give back his wealth. The youthful vigor that fills his bones will lie with him in the dust. Though evil is sweet in his mouth, and he hides it under his tongue. So, comment reincarnation? Mm-mm. Verse 13, though he cannot hear or let go and keeps it in his mouth, you'll be able to sit in heaven if you die with harps and wings singing in the clouds to your children. No. Where did that come from? Verse 14, yet his food will turn sour in his stomach. It will become the venom of serpents within him. He will spit out the riches he swallowed. Elohim will make his stomach vomit them up. He will suck the poison of serpents. The fangs of the adder will kill him. He will not enjoy the streams, the rivers flowing with honey and cream. What he toiled for, he must give back uneaten. He will not enjoy the profit of his trading, for he has oppressed the poor and left them destitute. He has seized houses he did not build. Um, Listen for what's going on today. I'll read that again. Verse 19, for he has oppressed the poor and left them as destitute. He has seized houses he did not build. Surely he will have no respite for his craving. If he cannot save himself by his treasure, nothing is left for him to devour. His prosperity will not endure. In the midst of his plenty, distress will overtake him. The force of the misery will come upon him. When he has filled his belly, Elohim will vent his burning anger against him and rain down his blows upon him. Though he flees from an iron weapon, a bronze-tipped arrow pierces him. He he pulls it out of his back, the gleaming point of his uh, liver. Terrors will come over him. Total darkness lies in wait for his treasures. A fire unfanned will consume him and devour what is left in his tent. The heavens will expose his guilt. The earth will rise up against him. A flood will carry off his house, rushing waters on the day of Elohim's wrath. You notice that over and over and over and over and over again, it talks about the last days, about the majority of the wrath. Is it Satan with a pitchfork who's red faced running around chasing after the Christians? Or is it the father that's chastening and correcting his children? Although it hurts, he's correcting him because he loves them. And when you hear this wrath over and over again, is it Satan's wrath that we keep told? Well, that's Satan did this to me, and Satan did that to me, and Satan was harassing me the other day at the grocery store. No. Where do you get this? And dear pastors, millions of you, millions, where do you get this? That you're telling the sheep sitting out, and you're going to pay for talking to sheep, because sheep are dumber than rocks. You have to tell them 1,000 times. You have to train them on what to do so they do things right. You have to. That's the way they are. They're sheep. And Yeshua loves his sheep, so we love his sheep. And to sit there and tell lies just to comfort them because you don't want to tell them the truth, you want to keep your job and keep your little business going and your little church down the street, which you keep expanding and getting in debt for. Where in the world did it come from that you go in debt with a bank, with the world, to build a church? What happened to building it and it's paid for when it's finished? And then you move in. Where did that come from? Oh, well, they've been doing that for thousands of years. No, they haven't. Another lie. If you're in these churches, get out of them. How do you stop these churches from doing this? You leave them. You leave them and trust in the Father. Trust in the Father. Chapter 21. Then Job replied, "Listen carefully to my words. Let this be a consolation you give me. Bear with me while I speak, and after I have spoken, mock on. Is my complaint directed of man? Why should I not be impatient? Look at me and be astonished. Clap your hand over your mouth. When I think about this, I'm terrified. Trembling seizes my body. Why do the wicked live on, growing old and increasing in power?" Good question. I'd ask too. Same thing today. They see their children established around them, their offspring before their eyes, their homes are safe and free from fear. The rod of Elohim is not upon them. So those who hate Yahweh are doing fine. Businesses are fine. Commerce is fine. Houses are fine and safe. Everything's good for them. Verse 10. Their bulls never fail to breed. Their cows calve and do not miscarry. Life goes on. Business goes on. They're making lots of money. They are not necessarily you. Verse 11. They send forth their children as a flock. Their little ones dance around. They sing the music of a tambourine, the harp. They make merry to the sound of the flute. They spend their years in prosperity and go down to the grave in peace. Never once founding Yeshua, founding Yahweh. Never once obeying him. Yet they say to Elohim, "Leave us alone. We have no desire to know your ways." Comment. Man often prays to Yahweh for relief, help, salvation, to be rid of bad times and sin, more often when man is down and under attack. Now that's a believer. And when man recovers, that's a believer, sheep, he often ignores Yah again and again. And so, when man gets into trouble again, a believer, he goes back to the Father and prays and asks for help and forgiveness, makes all these promises. If you do this, Lord, I'll do the following. Now, what do we think of this? If the father loves a son or a daughter so much and knows that the son will, or the daughter will only reach out to the father when the son or the daughter is sinning, would a father allow sin to run its course on mankind, on believers? Do you see now? What kind of person are you? Are you the one who speaks to, prays to, seeks the Father more in bad times or in good times? Let's be honest with yourself. How many times, 1 to 10, which is the greater? If that is the case, is it any wonder that lives are full of strife and sin? The Father wants to have a daily conversation with you. How's that done? I've heard this a thousand times. But, you know, I don't know how. The Father never speaks to me. That's what the Word is. And you should be talking to him. How do you talk to him? In the form of some prayer that some minister or pastor gives you? No, you simply talk to them. How much better if we would hear and obey the word and converse with him daily. And that's the end of this 15-minute segment. We'll see you again where we pick up at chapter 21 of Job, verse 15. Shabbat Shalom.